on the couch since this morning. Well, he never came to bed last night. Sleep on the couch. I left him on the couch before I took my son to school this morning, put a blanket over him. And now I just checked on him again because he never got up. I don't feel a heartbeat. I don't see him breathing.
I envision my son getting older and pulling up, kicking it with me on some grown man shit, bro. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like I wanted to have them time, man, while I was old and we just kicked it and we talked about what we did.
Rich Homie Quan's been gone for almost 2 years now, but the mystery around his death still won't fade away. That whole overdose story, it never sat right with people. Too many holes, too many details that didn't line up. And now, word is, the last people who saw Quan alive might be holding back way more than they told police. There's talk about quiet moves being made behind the scenes and a possible cover-up hiding right in plain sight. But before we jump into all that, let's take it back to the morning everything went wrong. September 5th, 2024, the day Quan was found dead at just 34 years old. According to the official timeline, his brother Andre was the first to find him around 3 a.m. He walked into the kitchen and saw Quan on the floor, food still in his mouth, unresponsive, not breathing.
One of the people that stay in the house.
Name?
Quick.
Quick. So you Quick's friend?
Correct.
And you don't remember what time you arrived?
No. I have no idea what has transpired before or after. I was just in the room.
Now, if you walk in and see your family member like that, you think the first thing you do is panic, check a pulse, scream for help, call 911, something. But none of that happened here. Andre told police he simply picked Quan up and moved him to the couch. That's it. No urgency, no call for help, just calmly laid him down like he already knew there was no hope. Then, a few hours later, around 6:45 a.m., Quan's baby mama, Amber, woke up. She got the kids ready, dropped them off at school, came home and saw Quan still on that same couch, cold, foaming at the mouth, not breathing. That's when she finally called 911. But when that call came out, the internet went crazy. People weren't just listening, they were analyzing her tone.
At the end of the day, and I can say this, and this is not an excuse, my son never indulged in drugs around me. You got to realize I'm his dad, bro. And I was a disciplinarian. I was strict, structured. So certain things I didn't see. I never saw Quan pop a pill in front of me.
It didn't sound like someone watching the father of her kid slipping away. It sounded detached, almost routine, like she already knew he was gone. And Andre, he didn't rush to clear his name or explain himself either. He was the first one there, saw everything before anyone else. Yet he didn't check for signs of life, didn't call for help, didn't even sound shocked. That's when people started asking the real uncomfortable questions. Did they know more than they were saying? Was this something that just happened or something that was allowed to happen? And just when people thought the situation couldn't get messier.
And I can say this, and this is not an excuse, my son never indulged in drugs around me. You got to realize I'm his dad, bro. And I was a disciplinarian. I was strict, structured. So certain things I didn't see. I never saw Quan pop a pill in front of me. I saw him smoke weed. I saw him drink liquor. But certain things I never saw him do. But in my mind, I knew when he was higher than normal. And I would address it with him. I used to tell him like, hey, man, whatever you going through in life, your ass ain't in a pill bottle or liquor bottle, man. I used to tell him.
Even more rumors started flying. Word spread that Andre and Amber weren't just living under the same roof. They were allegedly way too close behind Quan's back, too close for it to be innocent. Then, after Quan passed, Andre's actions only made things look worse. He was seen posting pictures wearing Quan's clothes, dropping laughing emojis, and acting like he just stepped into Quan's life overnight. People even claimed he was allegedly floating obituaries for cash and reaching out to big artists for collaborations just days after his brother's death. The streets were quick to call it out, saying that didn't look like grief, it looked like opportunity. Then came one voice that shook the conversation, Hurricane Chris. While most folks stayed quiet or tried to play it safe, Chris came out swinging. He didn't say he had evidence, didn't claim to be there, but he did say the situation felt off. He said straight up, something about that morning didn't sit right, like people weren't being fully honest about what really happened. And when someone from inside the industry speaks like that, it opens the floodgates. Suddenly, everyone started digging deeper, asking harder questions, and connecting dots that didn't add up. That's when the laced pill story started circling again. At first, the official narrative was that Quan died from an overdose.
Mama, I call you Mama. We been introduced since 2003. Big bro. So, it's real family. Moving, Ma, is how we supposed to move during these times. Because all the morals and the doctrines, this is the only time that we really apply it. When we hurt Job, everybody go read the book of Job. Just read the book of Job. He took everything from Job. He kept snatching everything from Job. And Job, like every Christian that, everybody like, I put so much good into the world. Why so much bad coming to me? He like, what? I ain't really been bad to nobody. I just want to talk to him. I want to ask him why. Why he doing this to me? God looked at him and said, who you talking to? Why not you? This is the time for you to praise my name. This is the time for you to tell the other people through the midst of pain, I'm the one that's giving you the strength, fool. So when people think you crazy, Ma, you ain't crazy. You being obedient.
A deadly mix of fentanyl, codeine, promethazine, and THC. The same tragic script the world's heard before when it comes to rappers gone too soon. But those who really knew Quan weren't buying it, not one bit, especially his father. Months later, Quan's father finally spoke up, still shaken, still heartbroken, and still trying to make sense of how his son...
But they're saying it's over an overdose. That's some fake-ass pills, bro. 9 times out of 10, it's probably them fake-ass pills. Like, I don't knock nobody who do what they do, but it's too fucking dangerous to get anything off the streets.
Who seemed to be getting his life together could end up gone just like that. Quan's father said it plain. That story just didn't match the son he knew. Quan wasn't some pill-popping addict. Yeah, he smoked and yeah, he drank, but that deadly mix they claimed took him out, that didn't fit his life or his habits. And this wasn't a father lost in denial either.
Rich Homie Quan passing.
Yeah.
It's sad, man. It's sad. Rich Homie had a lot of potential. You feel me? Like, he just made wrong choice in the past. What could have that hurt his career. And he didn't have to make that choice. But sometimes people gotta learn how to stand up for themselves. Don't be intimidated by no group of people. Cause them group of people, man, they ain't know that for real.
This was a man who spoke to his son every single day. They weren't distant, they were tight, more like best friends than just father and son. See, Quan's father never had a father growing up, so his bond with Quan was something sacred. So when he heard what supposedly killed his boy, he said it didn't sit right in his spirit. It felt wrong. Then came the toxicology report, and that's when the whispers turned into full-on suspicion. People noticed how fast that report came out.
Do you say that during that time period, you and Thug were really like close friends, or was it just like a convenient musical relationship and Birdman was really the thing that was keeping y'all together?
No, that was my dog. That was my dog.
Right.
Definitely my dog. It was Birdman wasn't keeping me together. I met Bird through Thug.
Right.
I wouldn't have met Bird if it wasn't for Thug. You know what I mean?
Too fast. No delays, no back and forth. Just clean, quick, and wrapped up like someone wanted it out of the way. Usually, toxicology results, especially for a public figure, take weeks, sometimes months. That fast turnaround raised major eyebrows. Stack that with the calm 911 call.
But they're saying it's over an overdose. That's some fake-ass pills, bro. 9 times out of 10, it's probably them fake-ass pills. Like, I don't knock nobody who do what they do, but it's too dangerous to get anything off the street. You're gambling with your life when you swallow that pill that you got from your homeboy. Even if he said he got it from the doctor, like, don't believe it. If you didn't go to a doctor and get that as your medication, don't take it. Even if somebody's selling it to you, got the pill bottle. There could be an old pill bottle they had and they putting new fake pills in it. Like, it's a dangerous game if you out here taking drugs. You gotta really, like, pay attention.
Andre's strange behavior, the rumors about him and Amber, and then out of nowhere, the mention of another woman in the house that same morning, Kia Brown. Yeah, that name started bouncing around heavy. Not family, not a friend everyone knew, but reportedly there at the time everything went down. When police questioned her, people said her energy felt shaky, nervous, like she wanted to disappear. Some claimed she was trying to leave after delivering something dangerous, allegedly. Others said her story was full of holes, vague answers about who was there, what she saw, and what really happened that night. And then she just faded from the official story, never became a main suspect, never made headlines, but out in the streets, her name never stopped circulating. There was just too many people in that house, too many unclear stories, and way too much time to pass before anyone called for help. That's when the streets started zooming out, looking beyond the house itself, because Quan wasn't just another artist struggling to make it. He wasn't broke, he wasn't desperate, he was valuable. And in this industry, value can turn dangerous real quick, because where there's value, there's always enemies. At first, all eyes turned to young Thug. The logic behind it seemed simple. People said Quan was trying to clean up his life, step away from certain circles, maybe even speak out. There were whispers he was ready to make some serious changes, to separate himself from the mess around him. But that theory didn't hold for long. People close to Thug were quick to shut that down, saying he had real love and respect for Quan. When the news broke, they said Quan was crushed, breaking down in genuine pain, not putting on a show for the cameras. And truth be told, nothing about Quan's passing benefited him in any way. So slowly, that theory started to fade out. But one thing didn't disappear, the idea that Quan was trying to distance himself from certain powerful people, not trying to start beef or expose names, just quietly stepping back, and that can be risky in this game. Lil Woody even spoke on it, saying how some people end up getting taken out when they decide they're done being controlled, when they stop playing the role others want them to play. He didn't say any names, but the streets, they started connecting the dots anyway. And that's when one name resurfaced heavy, Birdman. He was the man who originally connected Quan and Thug, the bridge between them both. Word on the street is, when Quan and Thug started getting too powerful together, too independent, too hard to manage, Birdman allegedly stepped in to separate them. Fans been saying for years that Birdman doesn't like when artists grow beyond his reach, when they start becoming untouchable. And when that happens, when someone slips off the leash, things in this industry can get real shaky. Nobody's saying Birdman pulled a trigger or slipped anything into Quan's system, but people know this business doesn't always move with guns and violence. Sometimes it moves with quiet power, access, pressure, influence, and silence. And when you start looking at Quan's death through that lens, the thought of an inside job doesn't sound so far-fetched anymore. In the middle of all the chaos and speculation, one voice chose peace over gossip, DC Young Fly. DC wasn't just another celebrity commenting online. He had real history with Quan and his family, going all the way back to 2003. This wasn't some industry friendship. This was real-life loyalty. At Quan's funeral, while everyone else whispered about conspiracies and cover-ups, DC didn't add fuel to the fire. He spoke life. He told the family to keep going, to keep living, even though the autopsy didn't feel right and the answers were still missing. He reminded them that we're all living on borrowed time, that none of us are promised forever, and what really matters is what we do while we're here. It was raw, real, and deeply human. That kind of love hit hard, and in a strange way, it made everything else surrounding Quan's death feel even darker. Because while DC was trying to help a grieving family heal, others were out here scrambling to explain actions that just didn't make sense. Now you've got layers on top of layers. A brother who found Quan first and didn't call for help. A baby mama whose calm tone raised every eyebrow online. A mysterious woman whose presence in that house still doesn't make sense. A father who refuses to believe the official story. And industry voices hinting at foul play, while powerful names quietly circle around the situation. And let's not forget a toxicology report that came out way too fast. This isn't just a tragedy anymore. It's a straight-up puzzle. And the internet, they're still trying to piece it all together. One person online went all in, saying what many others were too scared to say. When she put the blanket over him, she didn't see him foaming out the mouth. Dre said it was unusual for Quan to be on the floor with food in his mouth, so why you ain't call the ambulance? Another added, Amber was too calm on that call. I would have been losing it if that was my man. And someone else wrote, it don't matter if he overdosed or if somebody gave him something bad, it still killed him, and somebody needs to be held responsible. Because at this point, it's not about internet rumors or street talk. It's about truth. Until somebody steps up and explains exactly what went down in that house that morning, Rich Homie Quan's name is gonna keep spinning around the block, louder, heavier, and harder every single time. So now the real question is, was Rich Homie Quan truly lost to an overdose, or did somebody inside that house know exactly what was about to happen? Was this tragedy just bad luck, or a setup hiding in plain sight? And if Quan really was trying to step away from certain circles, then who had the most to gain from his silence? Who benefited when his voice went quiet? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going. Don't forget